Louisville made it back to the championship race.
We got Nick Last on the horn here. Nick, Saturday show was off the hook. Like, look at that smile. That basically explains what Nick thinks of his show. You've taken the show over 3 years ago. The first year you had a duck pond. Last year I thought was pretty good, but I thought it was missing some excitement. I think this show had it all.
Yeah, that's the first time I've been there since the Robbie Layton rollover, and oh my God.
Yeah.
Great show.
Give us your overall thoughts on how you think the show went.
Like it went so good. I'm stressed out for next year. I don't know, man. Like we got so spoiled, and I mean, you see a show like that, you've gotten every dime's worth of every. I mean, I'd pay good money to watch something like that.
Yeah,
and now it's honestly, it's got me a little nervous. Like now I've got to follow up with that next year, and I kind of got some new ideas in my head, and I'm still in awe right now. Like I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. I am spoiled by every one of those drivers. I am spoiled.
How many rollovers did you end up having?
I think we ended up having 3.
That's false. That's false, Nick, false. Because I've looked at the pictures, but I just seen that we roll a razor in the barrel races.
You want to that doesn't count. That was a liability.
I literally I didn't watch that because I was like, I just didn't watch it. I was prepping, getting dressed and shit. But I went through the picture portfolio that lady sent me yesterday, and I seen a razor flying through the air, and I'm like, holy shit,
dude. And so I had a bunch of buddies there sitting on the sidelines, and they were all like, we all thought he broke his hand because when they were going over, his hand was outside of the razor.
Oh, man.
But when we all ran up to it and gave it the old 1, 2, 3 push to get them back up, first we checked to make sure they were okay, but then we gave them the push over. And I looked at everybody's fingers and stuff, and I'll tell you, I might go to Windover. That's how lucky I'm feeling, because there's some sore bodies, lots of sore bodies, I guarantee it. But there was a lot of rollovers. Yes.
I'm sore.
Yeah. It was one of the most. It reminds me of back when, it's not a long time ago, and I know I haven't been around as long as you guys have, but it reminds me of when me and Alex used to just build shockers, and then we didn't build for multiple anything. We built to go and junk them and resub them. It's that simple.
That's what I kind of feel like is lost in Derby a little bit, because when I first got into it, it's like, what show are you building for? Oh, I'm building for this show.
Why were you?
What show are you going to be next? Well, if I have time to build another car, I think I'll go here. What car are you taking here? It was never like, oh, I'm going to try to milk my car from this show to that show and try to get to 3 or 4 shows out of it.
That's 100%. Where the sports become broken.
Yes, I mean, and I get the cost of cars, I get the cost of parts, and the time that these guys are putting in these cars. That's the mentality we've switched to.
Yeah.
But if you got people back to like we're here to junk shit tonight, you get a show like you had the other night.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you had 2, 3 fresh cars there. Everything else was pre-ran.
Yeah, everything was pre-ran. I was a little lenient on the rules. A lot of guys were just pulling junk down and throwing plates in the boxes on, Crown Vics. Old iron that was just hamburgered in the spring. I mean,
oh yeah.
But they took those cars and they put on a show that crowd won't forget.
Yep.
They put on a show that I will never forget. I mean, there's a few good shows. I walked away from that Derby with that high of adrenaline, like I just drove it.
Oh yeah.
That is how happy and proud and like thankful I am for those drivers. Like Brad,
That's
you went and junked your Doba. I mean, I'm not kidding you. Almost, I'm gonna say it. Like everything that left Eagle Mountain was ready for cutting up. Like
yep.
I didn't see anything worth anything left. It was awesome. Yes, I
Let
mean
me
that
show
was
you this.
fresh.
The lift is on the ground, and the front tires
They're off the ground.
are off the ground.
Oh man, I mean everybody, you went and absolutely partied. Like I have people reaching out to me on who this 33 character. Anyways, you might be trying to get a whole bunch of new followers or something, but
Time out. You brought up a good point about followers. I don't know if you walked out in the pits before the Derby, but it seemed like Brad was like a celebrity. There were 50, 60
well,
people at his car at a time.
That's because I was the car right next to where everyone was going to watch the Derby, bud. They had to
no,
walk past the car.
Uh-huh.
that Doba was clean. I mean, I'm pretty sure you and TJ McPhee are the only two that brought fresh cars.
Here's something I want to point out too, Nick, is Brad, what did you have for a drivetrain?
Stock 440.
So it can
Yeah.
still be done, people. You don't have to spend a buttload. You can still take an engine, go through, clean it up a little bit, and still have fun with it.
I was into this car probably like $1,600.
Yeah.
And um, I still obviously put in the work just like other people would do, but I told Nick going into the show, like, I'm just there to have a good time. Like, I mean, when you originally put the rules out for this show and payouts, it was 3 grand to win. Like, not many normal people are going to build
Right.
a fresh car to go try to win $3,000 in Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Everywhere else, that's normal, but in
Yeah.
Utah, it's like 3 grand. I'm not gonna do it, but like I had a great time, Nick. I really did. That show was phenomenal. Like you and I talked last week offline. People didn't hear this, but Nick was a little stressing about car count a little bit, and I just told him all you got to do is make a show worth the crowd's money.
Yep.
And I'm telling you right now,
They got their money's worth.
they for a $28 ticket, they got $50 worth of entertainment.
That's
Yeah,
the first derby I've been
got-
to this year that's made me want to go out and actually work on my car.
No, like that's the first Derby that I've watched this year, and I got spoiled, but also motivated. Like after watching that Derby, like I 100%, I think the old Nick's coming back.
Yeah, I love that.
I have the most fun getting rowdy. Like
Yeah.
the most fun. You have to take money out of the equation and ask yourself, are you going to stay motivated to keep building cars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, this is me. This is just me. I'm not nothing against anybody else, but what motivates me is going out there and feeling Saturday night what I felt, but me doing it in a car.
Yep.
I told myself with Heber, I'm building what I'm building to be junked, whether it's 2 or 3 heats. That car should be junked.
Yeah.
And watching that and seeing that adrenaline and feeling that adrenaline, just watching the intensity and the blood in people's eyes, like just the rowdiness. I was like, yeah, all right, like I'm ready. I am ready to go. This is exactly what I needed.
Coming out of COVID, I was kind of about done. I was just starting a family. I had 2 kids. Started a business. I was about ready to hang it up. Had a good conversation with my wife about it. I said I don't really want to quit because it's like one of them things. I'm too old to come back like 5-10 years from now if I change my mind. And she's like, well, why do you want to quit? And I'm just like, I don't have the time for it anymore. Like it's not as fun anymore. And I just kind of I looked at it and I said, why is it not fun? Well, it's because the prize money got big. Everyone started the the Utah style, in my opinion,
Died.
it
You can
died.
say it. You can say it. It
It
died.
from like 2018, it probably started about 2017 to 2022. It died,
Yeah,
and people started driving more strategic and trying to bag, and then I feel like over the last few years, I feel like everybody in the state has stepped it back up again, and I think it's coming back. But Jen just told me, she just says, quit driving for money, go trash a
Yes.
car. Like, guys, like, why would I like think about this for a minute? The guys that are driving for money, like, I know that some guys just want to win, and that's fine. Like, I'm not taking anything away from you, but if you're winning, driving to win that first place check, think about this for a second. Most of you guys are putting more money into the car than what you can win,
Yep.
and you can make, more. Most people, not all, but most people can make more working than they can building a derby car.
Oh yeah.
So I just decided I'm going back to kind of, the old days where I used to just hammer down and trash shit, and I don't care. I will tell you that I was sore as shit Sunday morning.
Called him 3 times. Guess where he was each time I called him? Still in bed.
No, I wasn't still in bed.
He wasn't still in bed. He said he got up, moved around.
Get up, and I go out and do
pee,
some
go lay
shit,
back down.
lay
That's
back
what he
down.
did.
Get up. I went out and unloaded the car, went and laid back down. Got up, watched my wife mow the lawn, went back and laid down.
Oh man.
What a sucker. Huh?
But I feel much better today, but I was sore. Like, I legit was sore.
I'm sure he'll be making fun of us after Heber.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Why you guys limping? Don't you know why, Brad? You know.
Just leave us alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, Nick, I really do. I feel like I've always thought from day one, clear back when DeWise started that derby, clear back in like 2010, that arena, the fans, that is one of the best set of fans in the state of Utah.
I never really paid attention the one time I went and Robbie rolled that car, but after you guys had talked about it on our podcast, I listened and like, dude, those guys, they're energetic. They bring the energy.
That is
Like,
one of the best crowds in
the other thing I thought was cool is like the whole community's involved. You've got the fire department out there running the barrel races. You have a cop car out there running the barrel races.
Right.
Like everybody's involved and they
Well,
love it and support it.
Jared Gray, he's on, like, is he head of the rodeo committee, Nick?
Yes. Yeah. So he's a bigwig, but he's also running for mayor out there.
Yeah, I
and
just seen that. So
He
he's running
wants
for
to
mayor.
be.
But
He wants to become mayor because he's got some big plans on a new arena and some funding and stuff. Like, I can't say too much, right?
yeah,
But there's always plans, there's always agendas. Whether or not it happens, we don't think about that. But 1 year at a time. And if there is a new arena and there is a new payout or something like that, like, I think I could make I already made one hell of a show for what I had, and I'm not taking credit for not one bit of that. So I just want everybody to understand that. I don't take credit for it. I, in driver's meeting, was panicked, stressed out, like, had 4 youth cars, which last year I had 14, and I had 5 adult cars last year, and this year I have 15. Like, dude, it was the weirdest year. Like, everything swapped. And then I thank goodness 70s wire, like Brad and TJ's class.
Yeah.
I had 7 cars show up, and I was like, that's a great number.
Yep.
yeah.
But
I would have liked if somebody in that heat lived outside of Twilla or Heber.
oh
Yeah.
man.
That took me back to Kings of Crash days.
It was 4 Twilla versus 3 Heber. The funny thing is like, I didn't even talk to TJ or Preston, the other kid from Heber, but like, I obviously I talked to all the Twilla guys like out in the pits, but I never like even knew who was in there. So when we loaded the track and I looked around and I'm like, oh my God, it's 4 versus 3.
Yep.
And as soon as they said go, it was 4 versus 3.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you could just tell it was happening.
From in the first 10 seconds of that derby, from that orange flag dropping, I'll tell you, it was, you could tell, you could read the whole entire arena, and I'm sure everybody was like,
I'm pretty sure that's why Brad started going slower in the circles, this shorten the circle just a little bit.
Well, if I wouldn't have slowed down, the timing would have put
Yeah.
me at the long end of the
Yeah,
arena.
no, yeah. It
And,
was
and guess who was behind me? 3 Tooele guys.
Yep,
And they still got me in the corner. It was
Yeah.
kind of like a boxing match. I got shoved in that corner, but like, I don't know. There's just something once I came out of that corner, I was like, I ain't going back in a corner tonight.
Nope.
And
You weren't reliving the tag
Well,
days.
well, seeing like I'm not trying. Here's what I'm gonna say. You were due, Brad. You've been to that show every year that I've ran it. What's it been? 3 years?
yeah.
He said he's
Year
been
3?
one hit and done the last.
Yeah, I mean,
Not
just
one
the
hit and done, but I have the first
First
one
one
out.
out. That's what.
yeah, just the most shit luck. Like honestly, it was just horrible luck. And for like something, I mean, that's another thing about Derby. Like, there's nothing easy about it. Like, and that's another reason why I love this hobby so much is it pushes you. Like, you can be in a down spell, but then you can have the next, whatever amount of derbies, you can be at the next high. Like, dude, this hobby is something else. Like,
It is. The one thing over the years that I've experienced every set of emotions with Demolition Derby.
100%.
From laughing to crying to cheering
Yep.
to you know what I mean, to being injured, not injured, to being sick. I mean, I've anything that my body can handle, like I've experienced it.
That last
I
time
felt
on
that.
APC that I ran, I went through 3 emotions. I was excited when I got there, got my ass kicked in the heat, was ready to load up and go home, went back out in the grudge and had a good time partying with Tyson and Brad,
Yep.
and then just had a hell of a time in the main event.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I mean when like and even as a promoter, I think Brad that you could agree with this. When the third rollover of the night happened and my stress level, well, technically the fourth, and want to include the razor, but when Brad when Brad had a lot of fun, went and KO'd, went and rolled Lazenby. I walked up. Brad doesn't know this, but I walked up to his car crying, like legitimately. Like my nerves were so fried. No one had been hurt yet, and I was, he came out of the car. He was good. Everything was good, and I went over to him and I was like, "So awesome!" And I literally, like, at that point in time, like, I was kind of like my guts hurt because I was like, "Oh my." Oh, no, I don't know what it was. Like,
I know what you mean because the year that Proctor went ape shit in Heber, our first year,
yes,
you put Jordan over the K rail, Brittany over the K rail, like all in about the first like 20 seconds. I remember going, I gotta shut this heat down before somebody dies because when you're the promoter, all that liability falls back onto you.
Yes.
And I remember that moment going, if I don't shut this thing down right now, like somebody's going to die. And at that time, obviously we had to shut it down because Jordan got pushed on the KL even further. We had gas going everywhere. So it gave us a break. But I remember my heart was pounding like you wouldn't believe. And I mean, every time I see someone kind of getting hurt on the track, I mean, as a promoter, dude, it makes your
there's
stomach
nothing worse
in a different way.
There is nothing worse, and like that's your biggest fear.
As a Derby fan or as a driver, when you're at a show and you see someone get hurt, you're obviously going like, "Oh man, I hope they're okay." This sucks, but
you hold your breath.
But legit, when it happened, when you're the promoter, it's like you feel like your dog just died or your wife just left you, type of pit in your stomach. You are so like scared that something's gonna happen to somebody or something.
But on a good note, Jaden got out of the car and I said, "Jaden, good job." And Jaden says, "That was awesome. I've never been rolled."
Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, promoting aside, like I literally ask people, I gather people together, ask them to come and support our shows, and that's about it. What I get's what I get, right? I owe everything, every ounce of credit to every one of these drivers, how professional they are, how nice they are to each other, how congratulating they are, how they keep their hands on the steering wheel when they get rolled. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we as promoters are so nervous about liabilities. Like, that's the best word that I can say. That would be like a rookie driver doing dumb something, something silly, something stupid, and like putting their arm out. Do you understand what I'm saying? Natural
Yeah.
reactions, because your body tries to take over, right? Like your
Yep.
head tries to take over. But everybody was okay. Everybody was on cloud nine. The people getting rolled were still on cloud nine. There wasn't rage, anger. Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, I owe so much to every driver that was there, because they were upstanding people. They were respectful towards each other. And I didn't hear one like crap talk on not one name of that whole entire like I said, I owe the entire event to the drivers, because at the end of the day, I will never forget this. The drivers make the show.
Yeah,
I will
absolutely.
never, ever, ever forget that.
That's the thing is if you give the drivers a platform, like Nick, you'll build off this. You now you've got a glimpse of success. You've had the troubles and the heartaches the last couple of years. You'll build off this, and you won't forget this. And so now you're gonna, that's why in like what in Heber, Ryan and I from day one said we're gonna take care of the drivers, because if you take care of the drivers and they keep
They
coming
come
back,
back.
they will put a show on for the crowd.
Yep.
100%.
So you've just
100%.
got to keep those drivers coming back year after year and doing what you do.
Agreed.
Another thing that just popped in my head, I just want to mention before I forget. Huge shout out to Eric Brown donating all those prizes to the kids with the Power Wheels.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm glad you brought that up. That was class A stuff right there.
Yeah, super awesome. Thank you for that. You totally made my kids' day. Like, I mean, they got me out of bed at 7 in the morning because they had to go out and get them out of the truck because they couldn't reach the door handle. But I thought that was really cool of him and his wife to do that. To me, that's pretty cool. Another promoter coming into a show and donating something like that for the kids. I mean, this is what from day one Nate and I wanted out of this is
100%.
we wanted to get promoters to quit fighting each other.
Oh, 100%.
And start
no
working
sense.
together.
Yes, it gets this whole state at nowhere. Like, that is it. It's literally nowhere.
Yeah.
And if we can all feed off of each other, we all have to deal with timing.
Yeah.
We all have to deal with our own issues with different things. But at the end of the day, if we can all work together, I mean, I came into Derby right at the tail end. Like, I feel like I'm on repeat, but when me and Alex came into this sport, this hobby, it was right at the tail end of the good days. Everybody used to call it the good days. It was right there, right before COVID, a couple years before COVID. Right? Went out to Vegas, had fun out there with Stern Dirt Show. But what I'm getting at is, I think, in my opinion, the more that promoters work together and the more that the drive, like, there's no biasness. Like, I understand that's never going to go away, right? Like, here's the reality. It's business is business, right? But if we all got each other's backs, like, that's what we need. Yep. Like, I feel like that is a big part that's lacking is new promoters have come up, like Brad and Ryan and me. I took over for DeWise and Eric Brown and Joker. They've taken over some new stuff, more down south, so on and so forth. And you've always got Stern Dirt, and you've got these other small town shows who I've never been to, and I don't know their promoters, so on and so forth. But I think if we all just communicated and got along, I really think that there's only so many cars in Utah. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
And that's what that's like, honestly, like where me and Nate are at. Like, you kind of are a little different because of timing, but like a lot of the smaller shows really benefit from like Heber, Spanish Fork, and Juab being these great big, the big three, paying out $100,000 a night. I mean, Beaver, Parowan, Manti is probably one of the bigger beneficiaries from that, and Coville.
Yeah.
Coville, I mean, I talked to Clay a couple years ago, and Clay's like, shit, I was down to 20 cars. And now, last year, I'm pretty sure he was like right around 70. And if you've never been to Coville, there's not enough room for 70 cars. But how do you turn 70 cars away when you're used to having 16 to 20?
A hundred
And
percent. Like
so
yep.
I just think if we all keep feeding off each other and keep building each other, and I mean, me and Nate said it 100 times this year. We're going to keep throwing credit back to Stir Dirt for getting that youth class going because
100%.
youth class is really reviving Utah. It's getting this new generation, and
It is.
dude, those younger kids are awesome. They are. They're fun to watch, and it was a good time.
There's 0 F's given, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick,
No, like
we got to wrap up with you because we got to get with someone else. But I know you've thanked the drivers 100 times.
Yeah.
Like, you want to take a minute and just tell us kind of like how much help you had and thank your staff?
no, yeah. So, first of all, my wife, like, she's a huge deal, right? As you know, like with your wife, they help so much. They're silent. They're in the backgrounds. Alex and his wife, Tori, I mean, couldn't ask for, a better person to throw some stress onto, so on and so forth. Case Barker, his wife, absolutely just great people. Every single year have always been there. Caden Rose and his wife, I'm going to say it. Brad, your wife, Jen, thank you. Like, I come to you with a lot of questions. You always answer it. I hate being put on the spot because I know for a fact that I'm missing people.
Yeah,
But,
and they will call you out if they watch the
Yeah.
podcast, just so you're aware.
Jeremy Nelson, who helped me set up the track. Alex helped me set up the track. I mean, we grinded on that thing. It turned out so well. The drivers through and through, straight line power, they stepped up and just started throwing cash at it. So I could give some drivers who had some bad luck or whatever, some cash and good luck. Like, don't get me wrong, it got spread around. I mean, I just like, dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do next. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, what am I supposed to do? Like,
You know
how do
what?
I match that? So
When we took over Heber, I was worried about the same thing. And our fair board says, "What are you worried about?" And I said, "It's the honeymoon phase. It's new." And I'm like, "Next year, the Band-Aid's going to get ripped off." And then we come up with a new idea. And they said, "What are you worried about?" My advice to you is you will figure it out.
Yep.
Like, you will figure out the next step. You will build off of this. You will see what works for your show because not every show is created the same.
Right.
You will figure out what works for your show, and you will capitalize on it to make it better.
right. One more name, like, just real quick. You mentioned him, Eric Brown and his wife Brittany, absolute saints. Like, reached out of left field, out of nowhere, and are like, "Hey, can we go to the store and spend some money and get these kids some prizes?" And I was like, "I don't have much to offer." They said, "That's not what we're looking for. Like, we're not looking to be paid back. We just want these kids to have fun and have some rewards."
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just like again, that's a different promoter. Like, just like you, I get ideas from you. Him, I get so much support from you, Eric Brown. I mean, thank you, everybody. Like, I know I'm missing people. I'm on the spot. I apologize. But to end the whole thing, thank you, drivers. Like, all the drivers, you guys blew my freaking mind. Like, insane. And thank you to you two for giving me the time of day to waste your day. So
We enjoy it, bud.
Yeah, thanks for having us up there. It was a blast.
Thanks, and we'll definitely be in touch soon.
yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Nick.
See ya. All right, guys, that was fun talking to Nick. We had a good time. Obviously, he is very grateful for
100%.
the support of the drivers.
That's all you can ask for out of a promoter, too.
Yeah,
Yeah, grateful.
You can't blame him. I mean,
If you were there and saw the show,
well, in his first year, literally the arena was a duck pond.
yeah.
It had this little island in the middle, and the outsides were soup. And he worked that thing all night, and he put on a hell of a show for what he had to work with. And then last year, I thought it was a good show last year too. And then this year was phenomenal. And you look at the car counts he's doing it with. He's doing this first year he had 15 cars.
Yeah.
This year he had 18.
I was going to say, we never really did ask him.
He was right around 24. So 24 cars, but that might be one of the best 24 car shows I've ever seen in my life.
100%.
And I seriously, I thought it was so funny when I was scrolling through the pictures and seeing one of the razors flying through the air. I was like, holy shit, they literally had a roll over there too.
Well, I thought it was crazy that the fire department and police department got involved. I thought that was awesome.
Well,
and the police department talking shit on the fire department, that was great too.
It was a good time, but as you guys can see, we got another seat here. We're expecting a guest. We're gonna bring in old Mad Dog. Let me see. I think he's waiting outside. Let me go grab him. Wait for you now, bud. Big sexy.
This will only hurt a little bit.
You would be right in the middle.
Dead center.
Oh. All right, guys, here we go. We got old Mad Dog himself to come in and join us for the week. Christian, we tell us about yourself a little bit. Like, how many years you been driving in demolition derby? How'd you get into it?
So this will be my 15th year derbying, and ever since I was a little kid, I went and would always watch the Heber Derby back when it was at the old Feller grounds. I'd beg my mom to take me every year since I can remember. And once I got old enough, I told my dad, I was like, hey, like I want a derby. And they're just like, yeah, whatever. Like, just kid being kid. And then I got old enough, I was like, no, like I really want to do it. He's like, okay. So he bought me my first car when I was 17 for my 17th birthday. And
was that the Lincoln?
that was a Lincoln.
I remember that.
And that was your first derby?
That was my first derby.
Didn't you place top 3?
I got second place.
Second place in Heber's first derby, which is awesome.
Yeah, I got hooked after that. So.
Well, I'm going to tell him about your second derby.
Okay.
I think it was your second derby.
Was that one Heber next year?
Yeah.
That was my third one.
Okay, third one. So I didn't know who Christian is. And Christian is now probably, top 5, one of my best friends. He'd make it top 4, but he doesn't call me enough. But Christian is legit one of my best friends. He and his wife, we love them to death. I'm the godfather to one of his kids. Like, I adore his family more than you guys will ever know. But my ex-wife's little sister had a kid over at my house one night, and he was like, hey, you do demolition derby? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you should team up with my friend Christian. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, yeah, they're going to go after the Bowman boys. They always win. And I'm like, oh, yeah? And Maddie's face went as white as a goat. And she went to tell him, and I hurried and cut her off. And I'm like, what? Oh, you don't like those guys? And he's like, no, they always win. They're cheaters, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm like, like how your buddy, because I didn't even know Christian at the time. And anyways, like long story short, a couple weeks roll around, roll into the Heber Derby, and me and Christian different heats, but we both make the main. And they say go, and Christian ends up in front of me, and I chased him down for like 3 or 4 minutes straight. And I just remember Christian looking out the back window the whole time.
Whole freaking time.
And we ended up getting stuck together, so we both got our butts kicked that night. But I remember his dad was driving the tow truck, and he came over and got Christian unhooked, and then like I was down in ruts, and he would not unhook me. He was so mad at me. It was hilarious. But since then, obviously, Christian and I, I told him the story. He's like, "What the hell?" Like he's like, "Yeah, he's my friend, but like we weren't like that good of friends. He shouldn't be like talking like that for me." So, anyways, it's in the past, but I just thought it was a funny story to share. But, anyways, so Christian, when you first got into it, like, what was your favorite car?
Honestly, I was a big fan of Dobas.
Yeah.
After a few, like I ran a couple Fords and they were fine. And then once I got into Mopars and found the Dobas, I loved them. I ran nothing but Dobas for a couple years there.
They're just fun cars. Like I know that they're, like they're strong in their own ways, they're weak in their own ways, but if you've never been behind the steering wheel of a Dova, man, like you put a motor in there, like they got these short little trunks, big old huge front ends, and it's just like you can just go so fast.
That's the best part about them is you can get in and out of a pit show.
I know there's a lot of people out there like they're junk. I won't touch them, and I'm just like,
send them to me.
Yeah, I'm fine with them. So, and then you kind of took a break there for a minute.
I did. I slowed down because I starting a family, having kids. I have 5 kids.
At one point, this mother effer had 5 kids, 7 and under. And I don't know. All I can say is your pullout game was weak.
It definitely was. It was non-existent.
But I mean, that is a lot of work. I've got 2, and I know how much work it is, and to have that. But I'll tell you what, if you've met Christian's kids, they're such
awesome.
good kids.
They had me and my wife rolling at dinner the other night.
I'm not going to give Christian credit for it, but his wife Lexi,
Yeah.
she sure knows how to raise some young men, and he does have a beautiful little girl too, and she's a sweetheart as well. But so yeah, you took a break off, got your family rolling, and then I think at that time you were just like, oh, I can't afford it, and I can't spend all that time. But then the wire classes started taking off.
Exactly.
And you reconnected, and now you're kind of like you're interested in the Crown Vics.
I do like those Crown Vics. I've had pretty decent luck with them, so I keep running
them. How I think you ran like 1 or 2 80s caddies and probably a handful of Crown Vics since you've been back into it.
Mm-hmm.
Which one would you say you like better than the other, and what would you say you like about one more than the other?
I like building caddies better just because they're carbureted, they're easier to build. But I think the Vics, as far as like if you did get an 03 and newer, are the car to have for an 80s wire class, just because those frames are strong, but you just got to deal with the wiring. But once you get the wiring figured out, which it took a while to figure it out, and I'm still figuring it out. But
do you remember like 3 years ago, Christian called me up and was like, hey, can I put my car in your shop and finish it? I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to really be around, but have at it. And I came in one night after going somewhere with my family, and Christian was like, I don't know what the hell happened. I drove my car in here yesterday, and I can't get it to start. And he's like, look at it for me. And I look under the hood, and all I see is this rat nest of wires everywhere. And I'm like, dude, I can't help you. I'm like, I don't know nothing about this. But we messed with that thing for a day and a half.
oh yeah.
And I remember Christian was sitting in the car. I was under the hood, and I don't even know the proper name of it. I had one of those little power probes. And I literally would hit power to every fuse, and he would try it. The very last fuse, I put power to it, the car fires up, and we're like, what the hell? I lift up the box to see what it is. It was the radio fuse.
Yeah.
We still don't know why. We don't know. We have no idea how, like, what purpose the radio fuse was tied to the ignition, but it was.
Yeah.
And so you ended up doing like a jumper wire from that fuse to your right to the battery.
Yep.
And then he went to Wire Madness, got second place and most aggressive with that car.
Was that the same car you drove at the state fair a couple weeks later?
Yeah, and then I took second at the state fair.
Yeah.
The other funny thing about that car is Christian was out on the heat, gets cleared, and literally they busted the valve cover off. You could see the timing chain and lifters.
Yep.
And Christian's like, what the hell? I can't, like, I'm done for. And I'm like, oh, hell no, we ain't done for. And I remember right before you went in, I dumped like 15 quarts of oil. And I'm like, just go till it runs out of oil. The next day, the whole engine compartment was just oil everywhere. Good thing you didn't catch on fire, but hell, he got second in Mad Dog, and that was a fun car. I don't know if you remember, but Jordan went with us that night. Oh, yeah. And we laughed the whole way home. We laughed so hard, our stomachs hurt. We had a good time.
That was a fun night for sure.
Anyways, so this weekend, Christian had a leftover car, and he went down to Eagle Mountain, and he ended up winning the 80s wire class. So let's kind of set the scene for people that weren't there, though. So there was like 11 cars in that class. Yeah. And Christian is known for getting Mad Dog pretty much 8-9 times out of 10.
He was living a hell there.
Yeah. They said go. He's driving hard. I mean, everyone was driving really hard.
Yeah.
And there was a rollover. And they stop. They get the car rolled over. They fire it back up. Get going again. Christian's still driving pretty hard. Another rollover. At this point, Christian, what were you thinking?
I thought I had no chance in hell of getting Mad Dog, so I was trying to strategize and figure out what my new game plan on the fly was going to be.
I definitely, from where I was sitting, I definitely noticed the change in your drive style from the second rollover to the end. Oh, yeah. So he went from giving her like 95% down to probably about 75%.
Yeah, fair.
But I will tell you, at one point I look over and I go, "Oh God, he's screwed," because it was
3-1.
versus three Twilla guys. And at that point, I in my head I was just like, "You need to pick one of these guys and go park on them and get third place." What made you decide just to keep going, and what was going through your head when you realized it was 3-on-1?
So I had to kind of slow down and be patient, which I don't normally do. I like, I don't know if you watch the video, you can kind of see me stop and look around and kind of assess what the heck's going on, who's still left. But I honestly didn't think I had a chance in hell to freaking even make it in the top five if I was lucky at that point, but ended up wheeling it down and cars quit running and mine kept going and made the last hit.
From where I was watching, I thought for sure you were cooked.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and I noticed it didn't seem like he was going well there forward.
No, so my car started belling at the firewall, which pushed my tires into the firewall. So when I was driving forward, it was rubbing sheet metal and it was binding, and I couldn't drive forward very well. So I started driving in reverse, noticed I could move pretty decently in reverse. I just started, going backwards, which I don't normally do a whole lot either. So I had to change up my whole driving style on the fly to just try and get into the money, and got lucky.
That's funny because I noticed something was wrong, and you start going in reverse, and I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if he's going to be able to pull this one off."
No,
But I did, like, there for a second. I was like, "Okay, he's into the top three," and then I'm like, "Okay, he's into the top two," and I'm like, "All right, let's see if he can pull this off." But I didn't think he's going to. But I got to set the scene for you a little bit on the sidelines. So I'm sitting right next to Lalo, his second child, and Cooper, my old child. They're on the fence, and they're sitting there talking, eating Cheetos. Emmett, his older son, is on the front fence filming, and I can't tell you how excited Emmett was. He was freaking out over there. He's like, "Is my dad going to win?" And I'm like, "If nobody else moves, he's going to win." And he is just jumping up and down. And Lalo and my kid are back there just eating Cheetos. Lalo has no idea his dad's about to get crowned the champion. It was awesome.
well,
But
let's talk about who he's driving against, because they were no slouches.
No.
It was two of the best drivers in Utah right now. Were two of them. Who was the third one?
there was Braxton, Zeb.
And I know the car number was like 145, but I don't know if I know the kid's
I
name.
can't remember it coming back.
But the two of those guys were
They're dang good drivers.
damn
Yeah.
good drivers.
Yeah, I mean, if that didn't teach you anything, because literally, like I said, in my head, I was like, Christian needs to go park on one of those guys. But it just teaches you, don't give up.
No,
Like, give it what your car's got and keep going, because 3-on-1, and not saying that like Christian outdrove him, because I that's not the way I would have said it, but
no,
I would say that like he outlasted him.
yeah.
He was able to keep that car going until one was out. He kept it going till two was out, and he never let those guys, work him into a corner and kind of keep him there. He kept it out in the middle, kept it moving. At what point did you like think to yourself like, "Holy shit, I think I just won"?
Well, so after I made that last hit on Braxton, I just started like looking at the officials, like, when are they gonna wave their flag? Just waiting. It felt like the longest 2 minutes
Yeah.
of my life. I was like, because normally I'm just like, go, make a hit, but I'm just like patience, like I gotta wait, because if he starts moving, I'm gonna throw it in reverse and try and like pin him,
Yeah.
get him stuck. And then I see Nick grab the trophies and start walking out. I was like, yeah.
That's awesome.
Heck yeah.
That was a great heat.
It
Like
was.
start to finish, it was action packed. You've seen some strategic driving, you've seen some hard driving.
Yeah.
There was a couple older guys like you and Zeb that were in there. There was a bunch of young. I mean, it was just a fun heat to watch.
It was awesome because a lot of those youth kids that drove in the heat before turned around, went and hurried and fixed some shit, and came back out into that heat.
Yeah. What? You've been to Eagle Mountain the last 3 years, right? For
3 years consistently. Yeah.
What is the one thing that you just love about that show?
Personally, I like that it still has like a small town feel to it. It's kind of just small. Everybody knows everybody. It's not like a huge show, and like my kids can go and run around and play, not have to worry about getting in trouble or whatnot. But mean, I love Nick. Nick's a freaking awesome guy, so I love supporting him, and that's why I keep going.
Yeah. Guys, seriously, if you haven't been, I mean, even if you don't take a car, you need to go out next year and just feel
Just watch it.
Like literally, the kids are playing in the pits. Everyone's just walking around, hanging out.
It was raining dirt next to your car with all the kids.
Yeah. It's not a high pressure show. It's not, fancy. Nick and his team, Nick and Alex and the crew, they do a great job for what they have to work with. I know Nick is definitely, you know, he's trying, but you can only do what they'll give you, and he's trying his hardest to build that show. But honestly, if it never changes, I won't be disappointed.
No, I won't. If I get that result every single time with 24 cars, I'll go every year.
Me and Nick kind of talked about it a little bit yesterday. I'm just like, when you do a show like that, you just got to design it to give the crowd their money's worth. If you give them their money's worth, they're going to keep coming back. The drivers will come back if you take care of them. I think it's a great show. I think it's I wish it was later in the year because I think he would have way more success with it. But I mean, just from what I watched the other night, I chalked that up as a 5-star show for the year.
So before that show, I made a bet with everybody over or under the time for the whole show for Eagle Mountain, as opposed to the main event at Madison.
Yeah.
And it was the under.
Yeah.
That show was 2.5 hours long.
We were at that show. We were derbied, we were loaded, and we were eating dinner by 11.
Yep.
I mean, that just doesn't happen anymore. And it was awesome. I mean, we were home by like 12:30.
Yep.
Even having a sit-down dinner.
Yeah. How sad were you didn't get your Buffalo Wild Wings?
Yeah, it was fight night. They kind of screwed us out of that. But we settled for Chili's, and it wasn't too heartbreaking.
No.
Took good care of us.
So, what do you got in store for the rest of the year?
So I'll have a fresh car that I take to Heber because hometown show. I bring a fresh car, and I like to put on a show. So
Nice. So you got Mad Dog there last year, right?
I did.
And then did you get?
He got it the first year in the 80s.
I got it the first year, not the second year, and then I got it last year.
Yeah. So, like I said, 8 out of 10 times he's gonna get it, and so the odds of Christian walking away with Mad Dog is pretty well.
See, and I compare Christian these days to Jake Parcell Mont Sweat.
Yeah.
You don't want to draw his heat because you're going to get your ass kicked.
Well, if you guys don't know Christian, haven't really watched him, he can drive too. He's not just all throttle. The dude knows where to be, when to be, and what hits to give and what hits to take.
He's not just going to go bonsai. And
I remember when he stopped driving for a couple years, I was heartbroken. I really was. I was just like, this can't be the end. And the wire class seems to be fitting you well. You really like the 80s wire class. Have you thought about getting into the old iron wire?
I have. I honestly think I'm going to try and transition and start getting some parts this year so I can start running some old.
Oh, shit. That's another Mad Dog.
That's awesome. I'll tell you, I've only ran the 80s class twice, and I hated it. I got my ass kicked. I keep saying I'll try it again one day, but I started doing the old iron wire cars 2 years ago. I think just last year and this year, honestly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I tried one of the Juab stocks a few years ago, but I have a love-hate for them. I love being in weld cars because you can hit like way harder and not worry about it. But like I drove this car probably as hard as I possibly could, and I mean it's junk, but
I'm pretty sure I watched you drive that car harder than I watched you drive a weld car.
I guarantee it. But there's nothing left of that one.
No.
But I've really enjoyed this class. I feel like this car is a $1,600 to $1,800 car. I haven't put down on paper, but really inexpensive. I feel like I was probably around that 5 to 6 day mark on 5-6 full days. It was this winter when I was, working. Well, not working basically. Like if it was snowing, I was working. If it wasn't snowing, I had nothing to do. I was in the shop working on cars, and it's probably got like a solid 6 or 7 days in it. But there's part of me that was like, is it worth it? And then Ryan Mayer asked me after, he's like, was it worth it? And the answer was, hell yeah, it was worth it. So
you couldn't tell with the ear-to-ear grin you had walking out of the arena.
It was a good time. I definitely was sore the next day. Holy shit, I'm too old for this stuff. But, well, Christian, thanks for joining us, and good luck at Heber. And we'll probably start some kind of betting poll to see if Christian's going to get Mad Dog. So
Yeah, I've got my money on Christian. It's
Christian,
a pretty safe bet.
before we leave, though, who's your number one fan? And you better not get this wrong.
My number one
Yeah.
fan? Like
Yeah.
my kids?
No.
Is that what you're
And
saying?
there's someone that's a bigger fan than your kid.
Let me think. Oh, I'm gonna feel dumb if I don't guess it right.
You want me to just tell you who?
Yeah.
It's your mom.
Oh yeah.
Your mom is the
That's
number
a
fan.
given, dude.
She is at every show. She is the proudest mom. She doesn't miss one of Christian's shows.
My little brother got video of you driving at Eagle Mountain because your stepdad,
Yeah.
he was there and he's in the same band with my little brother.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, dude.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, Christian won, didn't he? I'm like, yeah, Christian won.
Yeah. Christian's mom literally watches every show. Like, she's there front and center. She loves it. I mean, obviously Christian's kids they're gonna love it.
Oh, yeah.
Mom's pretty proud of him.
Yep.
Mom is
So
lucky to have her.
yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, man. It's
Yeah.
been good, and we'll wish you luck and see you in Heber.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
And
Yeah.
we'll catch all you guys next week.
Have a good one. See ya.
Thanks.